Do you guys know what's going on in Mexico? Mexico is in open rebellion against their president.
Conspiracy theories are entering a dangerous...
Information is the oxygen of the democracy.
There's so much evidence out there that even if less than 1% is true, that would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole planet.
And it's not all because she's Jewish, but it's not because she's Jewish and sold out their country. And there's a lot of backstory that we're not going to get all into, but if you know a little bit about the history of Mexican politics, you would know about AMLO, their past president, that started this new like political party and movement. This is outside of their Capitol building. Their what's it called? It's got a weird name. It's like their palace, their royal palace or some shit, which sounds weird to have in Mexico. But AMLO started this new policy against the cartels called Hugs Not Bullets. And his idea was, when we try to crack down on the cartels, so many people get hurt and there's all this violence. It's really uncomfortable. So maybe what we should do is just hugs, not bullets. And let's just not focus on the cartels. Let's just ignore the cartels and pretend they don't exist. And that'll really solve the problem. And so AMLO made a lot of friends with bankers and other business people. And, you know, I'm not expert enough to have an opinion on how well he ran the country, but he certainly didn't crack down on the cartels. I can tell you that much. And Claudia Sheinbaum, their new president, she entered into his party, rose up through the ranks, and became his successor. There was all these conspiracy theories about Claudia Sheinbaum when she was elected. Claudia Sheinbaum, if you're needing a visual, I'm sure you remember her face, right? This is Claudia Sheinbaum. There were all these conspiracy theories about how many candidates were killed in the Mexican elections when she was elected. And I looked into those conspiracy theories, and they do not hold water. They were ginned up. And it's very easy to understand when you actually look into it for 10 seconds. There was like hundreds of political people and candidates that were assassinated that year in the election cycle. None of them were a part of the presidential election. They were across all elections in all states and counties and municipalities all across Mexico. And it was a very typical number because Mexico is run by cartels and people get shot all the fucking time. And so actually it was like a real number that then got misconstrued online and then got run as propaganda for, you know, organic or inorganic reasons. So don't get fooled by the fake shit, because you don't need all the fake shit to just get into her stance on the cartels and her relationships with the bankers and what she's actually doing for Mexico. And Mexico is fucking done with it. And Mexico don't give two shits about being politically correct. And they are rowdy. This is a police wall with shields and barricades, and they're all like lining up and getting wicked with it. They spray painted this on the presidential palace's doors, which if you don't speak Spanish, you could translate it for yourself. Actually, in this case, puta probably has a slightly more like prostitutorial sort of an implication in this case, is probably how it would be used here. But yeah, all these words work, you know, together. Because there's some crazy footage from these barriers of them like tearing it down and then like totally brawling with these police officers. It's like pretty gnarly. I'm not going to show this one. They like grab these cops and are throwing them down and beating them with like freaking bolt cutters and stuff. It's wild. Mexicans do not F around. And this is going on live right now. So yeah. Government putada for sure down there. So that's happening in Mexico right now. And It's a little spicy, and I thought you should know. Because there's so much going on, it'd be easy to miss, right? Why are they angry? Because she sold their country out. Yeah, so I would have to do more research into Claudia's presidency because I haven't actually paid back attention to her presidency in specific since she was elected. I did a fair bit of digging into her candidacy and into AMLO and into the history of Mexican politics when she was getting elected to dig into the allegations that they'd murdered a bunch of people when she got elected. And so I got a bit of a background on AMLO and the cartel relationship with the presidency down there, and Carlos Slim and the banking interests in Mexico. But I have to do more looking into Claudia and what she's been up to and the particular grievances of the Mexican people today before I could tell you with any authority at all. But to be fair, one direction that the investigation is bound to go is that she is the first ever Jewish president in the country of Mexico. And Mexico is a Roman Catholic country. There's like 0.2% or something of the population that are Jewish. So it's just a little weird. It's just like a little weird. And you can't help but wonder because I noticed that as Trump came into his second term, to the north of us, they got rid of Justin Trudeau because he had expired his usefulness, and they put in Mark Carney, who has a very, very strong resume as a world banker, as a banking globalist deep state motherfucker. And he's very smart, and he is very qualified and from a very interesting pedigree, and he is clearly an asset of the cabal, we'll just say. And then to our south, Mexico elects for the first time ever a Jewish female president that's, let's just say, seems to allegedly be kind of aligned with the cartels and with the banking interests and with the more globalist kind of thing, whatever that might be. And so when the northern and southern border of the United States were getting sandwiched in by relatively shady leadership, that looks like a setup, and that looks very suspicious. So I'm going to look into that more. Fortunately, Mexicans don't take no shit. Mexicans are hard motherfuckers down there. So yeah, people all over the world are rising up.
That would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole planet.